Hey guys, got a new adventure coming up for 2026. A couple weeks ago I purchased a new to me boat, and I'm hopefully going to do the Great Loop in it next year. It's a 2006 C-Dory 25 cruiser. It's a real popular, almost has a cult following. It's a 25.5 foot pilot house cruiser, set up pretty much like an RV inside it. It came with a 1-year-old trailer, so it's in real good shape. It's got pretty new tires on it and low miles. Has a anchor and a windlass on the front you can control from the inside. A big 24-inch LED light on the front. It's got a 1.5-year-old Garmin Chart plotter radar nav system. It's really full-featured navigation system built in. A Honda 150 Outboard. That's real nice. It's got a stainless prop. It's got the Bennett trim tabs, which is nice for adjusting the planing position. It's got a 1-year-old canvas bimini top, which I'm actually thinking about replacing with a hard top over the rear. Somebody's out there shooting. I don't know if you can hear that. I live in the boondocks. It's got a 100-gallon fuel tank under the cockpit floor there, so that's about a 300-mile range, maybe a little more than 300 miles at cruising speed of about 9 miles an hour, which is a really good range. Super fuel efficient boat. So yeah, it's set up like an RV on the inside. Let's take a tour of the inside. It's got a engine starting battery in this compartment. It's got a house battery in there, which I think I want to replace with a lithium iron phosphate, a bigger one. Get a more powerful house battery. You can hook up to shore power there if you're in a marina or here at home. You can hook up to city water there. It's got a wash down pump and hose for the back. You can wash down the cockpit, so that's nice. It's got some LED lights in the back. There's 2 of those for lighting up the back. Let's step inside. It's kind of a mess up there. Sorry about that. I've been working on it. But it's a very, let me close this. Show you. It's got really good viewing when you're cruising. You can see out the back really well. In fact, you can see out all 360 degrees real well out of all the windows. So it makes it easy to keep track of everything as you're cruising. It's got a cruise air conditioning heating system in here. It only runs on 120 volts AC, so you can't use that while you're cruising. But when you're in port or at home, you can run, well, it's raw water intake, so you got to be in the water. But it's got good storage. There's a removable panel there you can take out and access the flush for the air conditioner. There's more storage under there. It's got plenty of places to store stuff. Down here's a little bit of storage, but also a 6-gallon hot water heater. It's got a refrigerator. It runs on 120 volts AC or 12 volts DC. It's got storage under here, and it's got an induction cooktop, single burner. I'm probably gonna mount something. Usually there's something mounted right here, a dual burner cooktop there, so I'm thinking about putting that in. But it's got a sink, more storage under here. It's got a head and a 9-gallon tank and a shower. So yeah, basically set up like an RV. I've got all the canvas covering for the windows under there and under there. There's storage up under there. That's a fan. It'll sleep 2 up here. You can access all the wiring. It's got a cover that goes up right here. You can keep all that covered, but it's really easy to access all the wiring for the boat. In fact, that's one of the beauties of this design, is it's super simple. All the wiring is exposed. Most of the plumbing is really easy to access, so that's nice. It's got the Garmin Chart plotter radar. It's only about 1.5 years old. That's all the 12 volt DC stuff. You can control the anchor windlass right there. It's got the Honda controls for the engine. The Bennett trim tabs are operated here, and you can see their angle there. It only draws about 1.5 foot of water, if that. That's probably about 15 inches of water it draws. So that's good. It's got a VHF radio for marine contact. The window up here opens up, and these windows on the sides open, and that one back there opens. So that's nice because you can get a lot of breeze flowing through here. But it's nice to have all that visibility as you're cruising. You can see all around the boat 360 degrees. What else? You can access the bilge. It's down there, and the flush out valve for all of that. Self-training cockpit. What else? It's trailerable. It's about 6,500 pounds on the trailer when you're fully equipped, so it's easy to tow with a half-ton truck like I've got. And you can use it as an RV when you're traveling across the country, or wherever you're going to lakes and rivers around the country. That's nice. You can sleep in it at night. Yeah, it's got a 300-mile range on a tank of gas. That's really nice. The Bayliner I did the Great Loop in 2021 only had about 120-mile range. You were close to empty because it got 1 mile to the gallon. It just was not very fuel efficient. But you know, you can comfortably fit 2 people in here, maybe 3. I think they advertise 4 or 5, but I think that's a max load. But it's super comfortable for 2. Good couples boat. This flips around over to here so that the passenger can face forward, or the passenger can face back into the dinette, and it converts into a bed. And we'll sleep 1 right there. You can sleep 2 up there probably. What else? So I may switch out that head to a composting, just to minimize them having, getting pump outs is kind of a hassle and all that. But it's got a 26-gallon freshwater tank back there near the motor, and a water pump, and Yeah, I'm thinking about putting you can get hard tops, custom hard tops made that would give me a permanent covering in the back, because I've got to put a dinghy of some type or a kayak on the roof. I need an escape vessel in case something happens. In the worst case scenario, I guess you'd be in a boat that's sinking. And I could fit a dinghy up there, but then I couldn't have solar panels. And I'm really thinking about adding solar panels to it. I don't know if I want to do that or not, but if I do, a hard top back here would give me a place to put the dinghy or the solar panels, and then the dinghy or the solar panels up there. So I got to figure that out. That would be nice to have, 400 watts of solar. So I may do that. I don't know. And I'm working on a platform that'll go here that I can mount the generator on and just keep a weatherproof cover on it when I'm not using it for when it's raining. But could run a generator when I'm anchored out. That might be nice to charge the batteries and all that kind of stuff and run the AC. But I'm also thinking about putting a small diesel heater. You can get these small 8 kilowatt diesel heaters. They mount up in the cabinets there next to the fridge and would give me heat. I did the Great Loop 2021 on the Bayliner, and it had the Cruise Air. It had a big Cruise Air conditioner, and I never used it. I think I used it maybe once or twice on the entire trip, and I was out in the boat for almost a year, and really didn't need air conditioning. When you're up in the Great Lakes in the summer, it's like 70 degrees every day, so on the northern end of the Great Lakes anyway. But I needed heat more than I needed air conditioning. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. It's going into the shop in a couple of weeks down near Lake Lanier. They're going to grind off the bottom and prime it and paint it with Pettit marine epoxy paint on the bottom, because it's not in horrible, well, it's in pretty bad shape. You can see it chipping up there pretty bad. But I've already taken it out up here on Lake Nottely and ran it around for a couple hours. Did real well. I launched it and retrieved it mostly by myself. There was a gentleman at the boat ramp that came out and helped me pull it back up on the boat, on the trailer when I got back. That was nice, but I probably could have done it myself. But great little boat. It's got a cult-like following, and it's just super popular because of its compact, easy to maintain, easy to work on. Great little solo cruiser. When you do the Great Loop, there's about 130 locks you got to go through, and this boat will be pretty easy to handle solo, so that'll be nice. But yeah, great little boat. Should do a good job. I'm looking forward to it. It'd be an exciting adventure to get out and explore the waterways. I don't know if I'll do it in a year. I did it in a year last time, and it's just so fast when you do it like that. You don't get a real chance to get out and explore all the beautiful places that you'll see. Doing the Intracoastal Waterway from Florida to New York. There's so many places to explore. You're in all the most beautiful places in Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina, and the Great Dismal Swamp and the Chesapeake Bay is just absolutely spectacular. That whole area is really, really nice, and this boat will, allow you to explore so many of the rivers, and backwater areas that are shallow. You can't get the Bayliner had a 3.5-foot draft, so it's kind of hard to get in some places, and you had to be real careful. This thing will be a lot more forgiving to be able to get into shallow areas and explore. So hopefully I'll do some of that, and there's lots of places, when you get up onto the Great Lakes, all the wonderful areas up in there, and maybe even go up into Canada. There's a real nice Great Loop route up through Canada that's just amazing, and so there'll be chances to do stuff like that. Just depends. I may split it up into 2 years, and take more time to see some of the places and stuff. I think I'm gonna launch in Tennessee, on Chattanooga on the Tennessee River. You can launch up as far as Knoxville and on the Tennessee River, and then head down to what is that? Red Sulphur Springs in Tennessee is where the Tennessee River meets up with the Tombigbee River, and get on the Tombigbee, and you can take that south all the way down to Mobile, Alabama, to the Gulf of America, and then cruise out through the elbow there, the armpit of Florida. Steinhatchee is down there, and Cedar Island and Tarpon Springs, Tampa, St. Pete, and head down towards Fort Myers. They have Intracoastal Waterway all through there. It's protected water for the most part. I think there's about 75 miles you got to go out into the Gulf, but it's not too well. You got to be careful. You want to go out when it's calm. But and then all the waterways along the west coast of Florida there are just spectacular. Crystal Springs River and all that area is apparently real nice for cruising, and then down to the Keys, and then up the Intracoastal Waterway up to New York. It's just, there's a couple months of cruising there that's just really, really nice, and lots of historical places you can go visit, and a lot of history, and great cruising waters, and great places to stop along the way. Everywhere you go on the Great Loop, there's a marina to stop at every night if you want. It gets kind of expensive if you do that. It's $40 to $60 a night to stop at basically a hotel. You get power and water, and they pump out your tanks and all that stuff. So it's kind of a luxurious cruise in some regards, but I'll be doing a lot of anchoring out like I did on the last one, where you just find a nice safe place to park the boat at night, and camp out, cook and eat and catch fish and do all that kind of stuff. So I will hopefully post some videos as I get ready to go on the trip, and and of course when I launch, and so follow the journey as I go next year if it happens. I'm hoping everything continues to go smooth with it, and plans work out. You never know, but I'm excited. It should be a good time. Thanks for watching.